I wish for one thing. Results.
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue, welcome everybody to the Caustic Masterclass series with the very first episode today, which gonna illustrate the most important and most fundamental skill of Caustic you will have to master, which is defense. So, as you can expect, Caustic defense is gonna rely heavily on his tactical ability, which are the gas traps. But before even putting a single barrel, the selection of the place you're gonna defend is gonna be vital and detrimental to your success. So in this first masterclass, we're gonna be covering different type of defense in rather buildings or covered areas. Basically indoor fights, and all outdoor encounters will be reviewed during the rotation and offense masterclasses. From the moment you land to the rotation you're gonna follow during the ring closure, it is very important for you to be able to choose and identify the best structure or building possible that will utilize fully Caustic abilities in order to secure your fights and also give you the maximum safety and cover as possible. So to illustrate this, we are landing on Skyhook, which is a place with a lot of different types of building, and will give you a better idea and sense of defense they can offer.
Introducing a new variable.
The problem with this very first building is, as you can see, there is a lot of entry points. There is a lot of doors, about 5 to 6 I believe, with a rooftop, and also abilities for the enemy to shoot at you from different windows and also destroy your traps. So this kind of building, we're gonna grade it as a low tier building. So this is, even though it gives you a lot of space and offer an enjoyable rooftop, it is pretty bad to defend. So if you have the choice, I will not recommend this type of building. What, however, is a grade A building is this one, for example. So this building has a very spacious rooftop. No, I'm not trying to sell you some real estate here, but the advantage of having a rooftop like that gives you a 360 visibility on the entire surroundings, to be able to know if teams are coming towards you or rotating to another space is always important, instead of being stuck on one floor with very limited visibility and having no idea of what's happening around. It can also send a message of strength to the lobby and dissuade some teams from attacking you. The other part, which is very appealing in this building, is the other floors, which give you some mobility and space to be able to retreat in case of a push from a rooftop, for example a Valkyrie or an Horizon squad. So what you don't want to be is too greedy in terms of defense and space management. For example, you don't need to try to defend every floors of the same building. Having the rooftop and the bottom floor as a backup retreat are enough, especially since the floor just below is the strongest to defend, as it only has 3 access points, which are the staircase, the zipline and the side door, while the other floors below have much more entry points, making it much harder to defend. The only negative part I will say to this building is that you need to be a full squad, to at least 2 people, to be able to control it and repel any defense. So if you're unfortunately alone, forget about this building. Moving on to a lower grade building, but however very great if you're in reduced force or alone, because it offers 2 floors and a top floor with a very narrow way of access. So if you're alone or with teammate, this building is really great, and in any case the most important part is to not again be too greedy about controlling every access, but focusing on only the top floor will give you the best defense and success rate possible. So once you have selected the best possible place to set up and hopefully led your team safely there, the second part will be to place your gas traps. The best advice I can give you on how to place and improve your traps placement is after putting your traps, as you're not gonna play all the time under pressure, you take the time and pretend you're the enemy who's gonna run through the building. So what you want is traps that are not visible from the enemy, so you can surprise them and trap them into it. On this example, if you put the traps on the left, it's very easy to be seen by the enemy rather than the traps on the other side, for which he has to go all the way around, which is very unlikely to happen except if they are very careful. But by doing that, they will also give themselves really high in the open. So on this building, as you can see, with only 3 traps, we managed to already give a very successful and strong defense, and putting additional traps around will only help that. One thing you need to also be careful for yourself or your friends, especially if you have a building with a rooftop and some of your friends will have to jump down and come back inside the building, is not blocking the doors, or at least not all the doors with your trap, for you to be at the end stuck outside the building and getting shredded.
I'm thinking... no! Why did I close the door?
That's why I usually don't recommend blocking many doors except in a very extreme situation, for where you are under an extreme amount of pressure or overwhelmed by enemy force, and for which you will have to block totally the access of the building. So now that your building is properly secured, you need to keep in mind that you can only have 6 active traps at any time, which means that any additional traps you put will make them disappear in the order you put them.
Placing gas trap.
And that even if the trap is already activated.
I still see everything. Deploying a variable.
So as you usually put the most important traps first and then consolidate your defense, it's always a good idea to refresh those first place traps by new ones, which will avoid them to disappear in case you have to use a trap during an emergency situation, like a knock teammate or extra cover from a window or things like that. After that, the more you play and more experience you're gonna build defending those places will allow you to come out with some creative way of defending based on your preferences and fight engagement abilities and skills. So for example, this one on bunker I really enjoy because it allows a lot of mobility. You can still go through the different areas of the bunker while still being able to hold it tight and having all your traps almost unable to be cracked, except of course if they are using grenades and stuff like that. Just make sure that the traps doesn't go overlap the door, as in this situation actually the trap will be able to be popped. So you can just simply put it close to the door but not too close, and it will just work fine. And as I was getting this footage for bunker, I actually got interrupted by this poor Loba, which leads us to the part 2 of this masterclass, the application. So even if Caustic is a defense character, and his gas traps can be able to stop even the most aggressive teams, it is very important for you not first to rely too much on those traps, but also play with a very aggressive mentality in mind, even if you are technically defending. During an attack, you can easily collect very various types of information, like what kind of legends are attacking you, how many are they, and where are they if, for example, you are defending a building with remote access points or different floors. It is also very common that during an attack, since you are inside a structure, The team outside, which is the most exposed, can actually be easily third-party, in which case the other attacking team is working in your favor, and having a read on the fighting situation outside will be able to let you know when it is the time for you to do a counter-attack and capitalize on this situation. Note also that in those situations, having mobility legends by your side, like Horizon or Wrath Portal, or even a Pathfinder zipline, is always a good insurance in case you need to quickly withdraw from your counter-attack and go back to your defensive position. Having a good game sense can also help you to quickly assess the situation and repositionate your gas trap if needed, depending on the orientation and flow of the enemy. So if he wants to fight you, he will have no choice but to run into your gas traps that he won't be able to see, and after be at your mercy in a very easily and merciless engagement. Another important aspect of Caustic fight mechanic is due to his hitbox. As you're generally gonna fight character with smaller hitbox, the odds of you winning the fight at similar skills and weapons are gonna be against you. Therefore, it's very important for you to be able to dictate the terms of the fight. Having the ability to control different access points of a building with your traps will allow you to basically isolate enemies or isolate yourself from the enemy, giving you the time to heal or to regroup with your team or to simply buy time in case you're expecting for your ult to be ready, for example. Once you start to master those mechanics, you're gonna really have a lot of fun playing Caustic, being able to pick an entire enemy team one by one, or trap them entirely in your ult. And having this aggressive mindset and not being afraid to go out of your defense, which is technically your comfort zone, will bring a very great and important element of surprise in your game for a maximum utilization of Caustic abilities defense-wise. Following the various nerfs that Caustic received, you can notice that many opponents oftenly don't give credit or the respect that Caustic deserves, in which case they will be totally blindsided and make a huge mistake of pushing you, and this is where you have to be extremely fast and lethal the moment you see them in your gas traps to catch them in the act before they leave the scene or phase. So being able to analyze what type of legends are fighting you will also allow you to know the moves they're gonna do. If they're gonna push, if they're gonna escape, if they're gonna phase out. Being able to be the first one who knock one of the 3 enemies from the enemy squad will give you a very important advantage in the odds of winning the entire fight. You also want to be quite vocal with Caustic in order to guide your team to the best possible spot to fight, and also, since you're kind of the security expert, decide exactly the rotation and the place you need to go. Unfortunately, if you're gonna play with random players, most of them, even for the most experienced, don't have a lot of awareness of how to play with Caustic. Therefore, it's very important for you to be patient and try to utilize as much possible the ping system or your mic in order to guide them in the playstyle that you want to do.
Planet is inside. Let's go!
Finally, playing Caustic doesn't mean staying in a building in a defensive position forever and board your teammate to death in the meantime. So if you want to practice Caustic defensive abilities in a pub game, for example, always try to land at hot and contested zone, take the best real estate you can find, and usually the fight will naturally come to you.
outside so we can
After that, you can also relocate to where the ring is gonna lead most of the squads, and once again set up a position in a place you know is gonna be contested, and then you should be able to have your fight in no time. So, in a nutshell, most important thing for Caustic defense, being able to first select the best prime location that will allow Caustic to set up and utilize his abilities in the most efficient way. The position of his traps are also important, keeping a good enemy flow and not blocking necessarily all the doors. Attack care forecast, knowing who's gonna attack you, what ability they have, where they are, and the game awareness is very important. And finally, the striking opening, which is knowing when the enemy is the most vulnerable and being able to strike and get the advantage on the fight. And to conclude this first masterclass, I'll let you enjoy this great showcase of Caustic defensive capabilities, game awareness, and obviously enjoyable toxicity.
There is a digi threat. They are not picking it up. It means they might have it already. Alright, we have the ring.
It's a gibby and might just be a gibby.
No, there is definitely a rampart down. Yeah, full squad.
That's Ash.
Full squad.
Yep, Ash, Rampart, and Gibby.
Good thing
They're
is they cannot
pushing you,
use their
pushing you,
Gibby.
pushing you, pushing you.
I got my traps, don't worry.
One's teabagging.
Obviously.
Congratulations.
The more they wait,
Conclusion. So they know they're killer.
That's waddled.
they went on the right. Close back the door, sorry. The other side, the door is open.
Oh,
She's here.
Okay.
It's Octane, he uses jump pad. Yeah, the rampart Octane and Gibby. I'm not sure about Ash. She's there, I can help. Watch out, try not to get burned. Heal up right away. Yeah. One guy is on the other side. Solo on the other side, come with me. He's alone here, here, come with me.
I cracked one with the grenade.
I know, but here we can just focus on the solo you
Thurston?
Please don't be a good skin.
No!
Merry Christmas! Take his shield. They're coming from the other side, we're good. Take his shield.
To say your death is a waste is the
They're going around it. No, there's a shield trying to push the door. We're good. Now he's here, on me. I'm gonna help. Take care of the Octane. Then he's dead. Then he's... Alright, 2v1, take your time. GG! Merry Christmas!
Alright guys, we're still a long way from Christmas, but I hope you enjoyed this first masterclass as much as I enjoyed making it. I'm looking forward to read your comments and feedback, and I hope to see you in the next masterclasses, which should be dropping in a couple of weeks. In the meantime, enjoy the new season and obviously playing Caustic and improving while doing so.
Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring.
I'm a man of
Just
science.
want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.